Yo, hello, good people. Thank you very much for your click. Welcome and welcome back. And if you are new here, we are all about positive vibes, positive energy, and good vibes till the end. Lots of love from this way, straight out of Africa. Let's dive in. Today's videos are very, 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 very creepy. Watch carefully and share your thoughts in the comment section. Yeah.
The chairman of the Obama Foundation just happens to look like your oldest daughter. And his wife, who is a doctor, who is credited with delivering your babies, just happens to look like your youngest daughter. The Obamas aren't blind, and their family and friends, and America's not blind. Somebody has to explain this. It's worthy of an explanation, or you should have got rid of these people. Instead, literally, like, distance yourself from them. You got rid of Reverend Wright, you distance yourself from him. Don't make this man the head of the Obama Foundation if he looks just like your oldest daughter. And just the whole story, I mean, the woman delivers the baby. I mean, this woman delivers the baby and looks just like the youngest baby. Somebody, please, God, help me understand this. Help me.
What happened at 9/11 is we didn't have a strategy, we didn't have bipartisan agreement, we didn't have American understanding of it, and we had instead a policy coup in this country. A coup, a policy coup. Some hard-nosed people took over the direction of American policy, and they never bothered to inform the rest of us. I went through the Pentagon 10 days after 9/11. I couldn't stay away from Mother Army. I went back there to see Don Rumsfeld. I'd worked for him as a White House fellow in the 1970s. All this is in the book. And I said, am I doing okay on CNN? He said, yeah, fine. He said, I'm thinking about it. He says, I read your book. And he said, this is a book that talks about the Kosovo campaign. And he said, I just want to tell you, he said, nobody's going to tell us where or when we can bomb. Nobody. He said, I'm thinking of calling this a floating coalition. What do you think about that? I said, well, sir, thanks for reading my book. And, he said, thanks, that's all the time I've got. Really. And I went downstairs. I was leaving the Pentagon, and an officer from the Joint Staff called me into his office and said, I want you to know, he said, sir, we're going to attack Iraq. And I said, why? He said, we don't know. He said, I said, well, did they tie Saddam to 9/11? He said, no. He said, but I guess they don't know what to do about terrorism, and so they think, but they can attack states, and they want to look strong, and so I guess they think if they take down a state, it will intimidate the terrorists. And, you know, it's like that old saying, he said, if the only tool you have is a hammer, then every problem has to be a nail. Well, I walked out of there pretty upset. And then we attacked Afghanistan. I was pretty happy about that. We should have. And then I came back to the Pentagon about 6 weeks later. I saw the same officer. I said, why haven't we attacked Iraq? We still going to attack Iraq? He said, oh, sir. He says, it's worse than that. He said, he pulled up a piece of paper off his desk. He said, I just got this memo from the Secretary of Defense's office that says we're going to attack and destroy the governments in 7 countries in 5 years. We're going to start with Iraq, and then we're going to move to Syria, Lebanon, Libya, Somalia, Sudan, and Iran. I said, 7 countries in 5 years. I said, is that a classified memo? He said, yes, sir. I said, well, don't show it to me. He was about to show it to me. He said, because I want to talk about it. And I sat on this information for a long time, for about 6 or 8 months. I was so stunned by this, I couldn't begin to talk about it. And I couldn't believe it would really be true, but that's actually what happened. These people took control of the policy in the United States. And I realized then, it came back to me, a 1991 meeting I had with Paul Wolfowitz. You know, in 2001, he was Deputy Secretary of Defense, but in 1991, he was the Undersecretary of Defense for Policy. It's the number 3 position in the Pentagon. And I had gone to see him When I was a one-star general, I was commanding the National Training Center. I had met him one time. He said, if you ever get to Washington, come look me up. They always say that. Well, I was there in Washington. It was a Friday afternoon. I'd visited Colin Powell. He'd given me 5 minutes of his precious time and sent me on my way, and I was bored in the Pentagon, and I thought, I'll just go, who can I see? I think I'll see Wolfowitz. So I called, and up there, he was available. Scooter Libby came to the door. I met Scooter for the first time, and he brought me in, and I said to Paul, I said, and this is 1991, I said, Mr. Secretary, you must be pretty happy with the performance of the troops in Desert Storm. And he said, well, yeah, he said, but not really. He said, because the truth is we should have gotten rid of Saddam Hussein, and we didn't. And this was just after the Shia uprising in March of 91, which we had provoked, and then we kept our troops on the sidelines and didn't intervene. And he said, but one thing we did learn, he said, we learned that we can use our military in the region, in the Middle East, and the Soviets won't stop us. He said, and we've got about 5 or 10 years to clean up those old Soviet client regimes, Syria, Iran, Iraq, before the next great superpower comes on to challenge us. And it was like, you know, I'm coming out of the Mojave Desert. I've been training troops. I haven't been thinking geostrategy for some time. And suddenly a guy just sort of shoves this nugget at you. Well, you remember it. It was a pretty stunning thing. You mean the purpose of the military is to start wars and change governments? It's not to sort of deter conflict? We're going to invade countries? And, you know, my mind was spinning. And I put that aside. It was like a nugget that you hold on to. This country was taken over by a group of people with a policy coup. Wolfowitz and Cheney and Rumsfeld, and you could name a half dozen other collaborators from the Project for a New American Century. They wanted us to destabilize the Middle East, turn it upside down, make it under our control. It went back to those comments in 1991. Now, did anybody ever tell you that? Was there a national dialogue on this? Did senators and congressmen stand up and denounce this plan? Was there a full-fledged American debate on it? Absolutely not. And there still isn't. And that's why we're failing in Iraq. Because Iran and Syria know about the plan. All you have to do is read the Weekly Standard and listen to Bill Kristol, and he blabbermouths it all over the world. Richard Pearl the same way. They could hardly wait to finish Iraq so they could move into Syria. It was like a laydown. Oh, our legions are going to go in there. This wasn't what the American people voted George Bush into office. Well, they didn't actually vote him into office, but it wasn't what many of the people who... It wasn't what he campaigned on. He campaigned on a humble foreign policy, the most arrogant foreign policy in American history. He campaigned on no peacekeeping, no nation building, and here he is with Afghanistan and Iraq. It's astonishing. So the root of the problem is not how many troops are in Iraq. Please believe me. Don't be mad, if you're a Democrat, at your Democratic congressman because they can't reduce the troops and frustrate the president. That's not the issue. And if you're a Republican, don't be mad at the Democrats because they're fussing with the troops. Whether you're a Democrat or a Republican, if you're an American, you ought to be concerned about the strategy of the United States in this region. What is our aim? What is our purpose? Why are we there? Why are Americans dying in this region? That is the issue.
No, that is crazy, man. Oh my God.
Officially, aliens, or what they call UFO, does exist. Do not believe me? Hear this. In the 26th of July, 2023, the U.S. Congress decided to have a meeting where they invited all the members of Congress, including a former U.S. intelligence official and a couple of pilots who worked for the U.S. Navy. Now, these weren't just ordinary guys. No, my friend. These were agents who held high positions in the government, so much so that everyone in America knew their names: David Grouch, David Fryver, and Ryan Graves. These were the three who stood in front of the court and swore to tell the truth inside the U.S. Congress. And what they announced was shocking. David Grosh said that there is a secret work project of the Ministry of Intelligence that contains the events of spacecraft crashes and also supervises the transfer of alien objects, and promised to give full evidence in a special session. As for his friends, they gave evidence for their testimony. But what David Frewer said was really interesting, as he said that he and his teammates were recalled in 2004 due to foreign objects on the radar. And the shock was that they found an oval-shaped, smooth object that had no features, and it was so fast that it covered a distance of 100 kilometers in 1 second and disappeared completely. He was able to photograph it via radar, and what confirms this is that he told them during the session that he had 2 pilot witnesses with him, and now the session did not reveal anything new. What do you think about this?
What do you think about that? Because it's... Oh my God.
You know what's going on here?
What's going on here?
So the rocket went to the moon, and then the lander separated from the orbiter. 2 of the 3 went down to the moon, and 1 guy stayed on the whole time and went around the moon a couple times, right? That's how it went. So he's up there alone, and he's doing paperwork. And why does the camera pan up? Who's filming this? There's no one on. There's no one on there with him. This is just a little trick in a zero-G plane to make you think that they're floating in space.
Right now, it's not possible that they have a camera there, like an automatic camera that would follow motion or anything of that nature.
In 1969.
Hebrew's all math. It's all numbers. You know that? Yeah, look. The ancient Jews used Hebrew as their numerical system. Each letter's a number. Like the Hebrew A, Aleph, it's 1. B, Bet, it's 2. You understand? But look at this. The numbers are interrelated. Like take the Hebrew word for father. Av, Aleph, Bet. 1, 2 equals 3. All right? Hebrew word for mother, Aim, Aleph, Mem. 1, 40 equals 41. Sum of 3 and 41, 44. All right? Now, Hebrew word for child. All right? Mother, father, child. Yelad. That's 10, 30, and 4. 44. Torah is just a long string of numbers. Some say that it's a code sent to us from God.
That's kind of interesting.
Yeah, that's just kid stuff. Check this out, okay? The word for the Garden of Eden, Kedem. Numerical translation, 144. Now the value of tree of knowledge, all right, in the garden, right? Eitz HaChaim, 233. 144, 233. Now you can take those numbers. So,
like the Fibonacci sequence? Fibonacci's an Italian mathematician in the 13th century. If you divide 144 into 233, the result approaches theta.
Theta?
Theta. The Greek symbol for golden ratio, golden spiral.
Wow. I never saw that before. That's like that series you find in nature? Like the face of a sunflower?
Wherever the spirals.
You see this math everywhere.
That was very interesting, man. I learned some few tricks here and there. It's nice watching these videos you get. They're very educative, but I'd like you to share your thoughts about them. Share lots of love from wherever you are. Let us know where you're watching these videos from. Lots of love from this side too, man. Positive vibes till the end. Yeah.
Thanks, Bernard. Now, finally for now, a mysterious hole on a beach has caused a stir in North Dublin. A local astronomy enthusiast is hoping the crater in Portmarnock could be the aftermath of a cosmic event.
It's a huge, mysterious crater that looks out of this world. But is it? The unusual hole on Portmarnock Beach stopped local astrophysics enthusiast Dave Kennedy in his tracks yesterday, and he's certain the small but heavy rock inside it came from up above.
As you can tell by here, there's a scorch mark on this side here, so that would have been at the angle that it came down at. And it is weighty. I'm not sure if it's composition, but we're definitely going to have to find out.
The striking hole soon caught the attention of passers-by, many hoping that what they're witnessing is the aftermath of a once-in-a-lifetime cosmic event.
Some people just love to research things and complicate things, but I'd like you to share your thoughts about those kind of people. But regardless of how they are, just love them, People are people, no matter the color. And that's why we are sharing love from this side to the whole world. Because we want this thing to go global. As a community, through your help, watch this video till the end.
There is no way this is real. And if this is real, we are already doomed. I used to read the stories about the lady flying on a broom. Now you can see them, they are here. And there's Lucifer sign, thousands of people are watching them and they're recording them. Like, we are accepting these things. And there's the biggest sign of Illuminati in the New World Order. And I'm not scared, I'm just nervous and excited what's gonna happen next. And people will say this is fake. If you think this is fake, just tell me in a comment and why you think it's a fake.
Is that a fake?
If you can show me the grave site of anybody mentioned in the Bible. I told him about Jesus. They said, well, you ain't gonna find Jesus there because he got up. Okay. Let's do anybody. Anybody. If you can show me, take me to the grave site of one person mentioned in the Bible, I will pay all your living expenses to the day I die.
This guy, I think you want to try out those TikTok hacks that we see every day. Some of these hacks, as we have been seeing here, they are not to be believed at all. You can try and you find instead of solving a problem, you are creating one. Let's watch now, for example, this one. I wonder what he's trying to create. Now this is a few moments later. Oh, he just used super glue and those, what do you call them? Those what stuff? Oh, it's really working. Okay, is it? Oh, did it really work? I doubt. Is it true?